All right, let's do it live on a Tuesday edition of Cleveland Browns Daily. I am merely Bo. He is the great Z. How you living, buddy?
Well, better now that you're here.
I know it.
I missed you yesterday.
There I am.
I missed you yesterday.
Now I missed you too.
Because it was a fun show.
I bet it was a barrel of laughs.
Just pure
Just
joy.
everything you ever want.
It was great.
Just yucking it up.
Yeah. How was
Yucking it up.
How was the game at the Q?
So we had done this
Or
when
the field house, I guess it is now?
Yeah, the field house. We had done this when when NBC was a fifth grader,
Yep.
and so about every other year we try to do it, and it's an incredible thing the Cavs do if you're able to get your teams out of school and you're able to sell a certain amount of tickets, you get to go play on their court.
Sweet.
So
Same
Beamsy,
court they played on that night?
that night. So you go down there, and they'll do the starting lineups for the kids, and the kids played a game. We played Aurora.
Do you get a mod? Does he?
You do not get a mod. No,
You
no,
don't get a mod
No,
on
I
the
think he comes
microphone?
in a little
Okay.
bit later. So no, you were not getting that. But anyway, they came in and they were great. It was the kids at the time of your life, as you can imagine. Like they are.
Yes.
They couldn't sleep the night before. They're getting pulled out of school at midday to go play basketball at Rocket Mortgage. Like it's just a ridiculous thing to be able to do. And the Cavs are so great at the way they handle this stuff. And it's the first time that I'd been there since they had. I mean, I'd been there since they put the exterior on it. But in terms of like the gift shop and all of the new stuff and just the way they go about their business, it's just a home run across the board.
Yes.
So it's such a fun night. So you do the game, and then you get to do like the autograph lane. So like it was an instance where it was very nice to have Bootsy because he still passes for cute. And so they put him right at the front of like the autograph line. So he got Darius and Donovan and Evan and all of this stuff. And Beamsy was down there with him as his chaperone. So then they got all of that stuff, which was really
Fantastic.
awesome. It was awesome. It was awesome. And those guys were all great. And then you stayed and watched the game, and the game was like they just don't lose. It's just where they're at. They're just really good.
74 to go.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fun watch. It's just a really good product.
Because in the National Basketball Association, and I think that we have superstars matter probably the most.
Yeah, for sure.
Coaching matters a great deal, especially
Yes, at the top.
offensive coaching. Mm-hmm. You think about how Phil Jackson was able to be so good. Obviously, he had some of the greatest players of all time with him, but he had an offensive system that worked. The Warriors got significantly better once Steve Kerr came in and implemented his system. Atkinson's done base, and obviously was learned there, but the ball movement, the spacing, the lack of bring the game to a crawl isolation, it doesn't happen anymore. And it's great basketball. It's actually fun to watch. The thing that is the most upsetting is that to me anyway, and you guys could say, hey, just go pay for it. You cannot watch this team unless you get that app, which to me is, what are we doing?
Or if you're me and you have cable.
There you go.
So those are your two options, or so it seems. That part's pretty crazy that there's not a better solution for that so that people can watch this team be played because it's fun. You should be able to. They're awesome. You're right on the offense. There were so many times just where I was sitting next to Beamsy as we were watching it last night, and I said, and I'm like, watch how when a rebound goes up, Mitchell flies down this sideline, Garland flies down this. They get a quick
outlet,
and they're gone, and they go, and they move it up the court so quickly, and it manifests a lot of easy buckets and a lot of transition threes. So it's just, you're right, and every time somebody penetrates, they know where everybody else is opposite to kick for an open three. Like it's beautiful.
It is beautiful.
It's beautiful.
And it also shows because when you run a system where it is kind of much more, the ball is bouncing much more than it's being passed, Garland and Mitchell together don't make as much sense. But now when the ball is constantly moving, you have two guys that can at any point be the primary ball handler, two guys who can make the three, two guys who can score it, who can drive and kick. And it's just creating a much better synergy than the other style did. Because that was a big question, right? Could these guys really play together?
Can Allen and Mobley play together?
And now, yes, of course. And Mobley's become empowered and emboldened to be an absolute killer. He's fantastic.
It was really cool yesterday in the fourth how Atkinson didn't go away from his rotations when they got down.
His rotations are good.
Yeah,
And they also
he kept it though. Like he didn't rush Mitchell back in.
Yeah.
As the lead stretched to 6 or whatever it did. I mean, he kind of stayed with it, and then they made their run in the last 4 minutes. But no, you could tell, and like Mitchell loves him. You can tell like the back and forth,
Yes,
the high fives, all of it. Like it's fun. It's really cool. They did a great job. It was a big win. Bootsy actually sat in the coaching chair for the team because he didn't play, but we pulled him out. Obviously, and so I have a picture of him in like the number 1 coach's chair. Which is
did you dress him up in like a Cavs
I should have put him
sweatsuit
in. I should have put him in a suit.
Oh, should be
amazing.
Should wear a quarter.
I know, but I'm old school. Like I should have went Pat Riley,
Yeah.
like slick back suit, tie.
Oh, God,
I should have done that. Yeah, but it was great. So they were awesome down there, and that was fun. And it's one of those things that's really cool. And we do a lot of that stuff here too. But when you have no idea the impact that it makes on kids to be able to do stuff like that.
It's amazing.
It's about as good as it gets. And you had that. You had Monday Night Football last night. Tonight you have the matter of the election of the United States of America. You have an NFL trade deadline tonight. And this is probably down your list, but at the top of mine is the college football, Nate, maybe.
Dude.
The college football
What do you mean?
top 25 and bracket. The initial one will
bracket.
come out tonight. Yeah.
You think I don't know that?
There you go. So this is a crazy 24-hour period.
Yeah.
With all this stuff in here.
I wonder. I'm going to make a vow right now to not, and I don't know that I'll necessarily come across it organically. I will do my best to avoid it.
Okay.
And what I would like to see is, and I'd like you to set an over-under, speaking of over-unders, how many of the initial 12 that college football Nate can get?
Are you going to have
I'm
any
happy to
sort
make
of
that
reference?
a segment.
We got
today.
time tomorrow or today. Do you have a
Could do
Do
that
you know
next
what
segment.
do you know what the breakdown is?
Well, let me try.
All right, here's what we'll do. We can do that. We'll do that in the next segment.
We'll do it in the next
Let it marinate.
segment.
Okay.
Let it marinate, and then you can do college football Nate's mock 12-team bracket tonight.
Okay.
We'll see how you do.
Okay.
We'll see how you do, just based on where you're at. Monday Night Football last night. This was like it was 2018. Kareem Hunt, 100 yards and a touchdown. Travis Kelce, 14 catches. DeAndre Hopkins, 2 touchdowns. It's 18 again, all over again.
So Kareem is putting up one of probably the most unique statistical seasons, I think, ever. He gets 20 carries every game. He never runs for 4 yards a carry, and yet he is captivating to watch. He does all the great Kareem things. He does his spins. He never really breaks a long run.
No.
I think he had a 15-yarder, which was a significant run. But if you get near the goal line, my man is getting in the end zone.
He's fine in the paint, dude.
Well, we saw that last year. I mean, last year he actually set his career high in touchdowns. I could not be happier for him. I love Kareem Hunt. He is getting to go back where it started, which is so cool for him. 27 carries, 106 yards, long of 15. I'm going to look on the season. He's averaging 3.7 yards a carry. And that 15-yarder, that was his long run of the season. So he is just a whirling dervish.
For 3 yards. 4.
3 to 4.
But I feel like
incredible. It's
I also
awesome.
feel like he never loses 2.
Never. No.
It's always a
No
positive.
negative runs.
It's almost never a negative run.
And he rarely fumbles the ball. Rarely. In his career, in 1,141 carries and 233 receptions, so 1,374 career touches, he's lost 1 fumble.
That's nuts.
So he is as reliable as you can do. He is. It's good for him. Now, you'd say everybody's mad at the Browns. He wasn't on an opening day roster.
No, he's nowhere.
Anywhere in
No.
the league. He only was brought in after Pacheco was lost for the season, and he's made the most of it, and it's awesome. And he looks rejuvenated. He looks fresh, but it is very similar to what you got a year ago, and I think it's awesome to see. He's fun to watch. I thought Bake really competed last night and was fun to watch, led the drive that tied the game. I think they should have gone for 2.
Yep.
When
same.
you're the worst team, here's the thing. You're only going to lose in regulation anyway if they kicked a field goal. So, like, even if you went for 2, it didn't guarantee you a win, but it would have been the same way. You would have lost in regulation the same way that you would have lost by kicking the extra point.
Yeah.
And I think you want that game decided in regulation. Now, of course, you could have just not gotten the 2. It's not a gimme.
Sure.
But when you're the worst team, and they were.
Yeah.
On the road, just try to bring the whole game down to one play.
Yeah.
Can we get 2 yards once?
Yeah. Versus the luck of the coin flip and Mahomes and all the rest of it.
Come on. As soon as they won the coin toss, it was over.
It was done. I thought here's Kansas City, I think, in a nutshell. Like, they will just do whatever is necessary to win. They're not annihilating anybody. They don't Baltimore anybody. They don't the Lions anybody. They win everything by 3 to 7 to 10. Whatever you can score, they'll score a field goal more. They'll score a touchdown more. That's just what it is. They don't even really cover. We had this yesterday, I'm sure. Did you have it like I did?
I did.
Yeah,
Same.
good job.
Same.
Yeah, as soon as I saw it, big week for the scores.
Big
but I said, as soon as I saw it, I thought it's just too much. They'll win, but that's just too. They don't cover.
Right.
That's not what they do. They just win. That's the operation, and so they do it. And this was the first one really this year where it was, I'm Mahomes and I'm going to be great.
Yes.
He was 33 of 44, 291. His average yards per attempt isn't great, but it's 3 touchdowns, 0 picks. He is now over touchdown to interceptions this season. He was under.
Yeah.
Finally. He finally has more touchdowns than interceptions. So this was like the first one where it's like, it's on me.
And it was money on third downs.
Money.
I think at one point he was like 9 for 9, and 8 of them went for first downs. So
They unlocked Hopkins yesterday, 8 for 86 and 2 scores.
Yeah, and he had 6 for like 60 in the first half and the touchdown, and then didn't catch the ball again until that touchdown, and then got 1 in overtime. Xavier Worthy was nowhere to be seen. Not fun. I wasn't a fan of that. But
you got your Jackson Smith and Jigba on Sunday, so that was your gift.
Boy, did I.
There was your gift.
Did I mention that on the show? Did I?
No, but you've been talking about Jackson Smith and Jigba. Throw him the ball, please.
And vertically.
And he had, and they finally did. In fact, a couple of weeks ago, you even lamented, like, can he run anything other than a 5-yard out? And they finally said, oh, yeah, he's actually really good deep. If you just deep overs.
And he had 2 more catches that would have gone for 80 more yards, taken back on nonsense holds.
I know it.
No,
I watched that game finish. He's a stud.
It should be him and DK in 2 receiver sets. Lockett should only play in 3 receiver sets, and he needs to be running vertical routes. He is electric.
I know. Yeah. So they finally did unlock him. Kansas City is 8-0 on the season. Did you watch? So I was at the Cavs game.
The Bucs are in trouble now, by the way.
They're in big trouble. But to be honest, though, who isn't? Who isn't in trouble in the NFC? Like the North, those 3 teams in the North are separating. The West is a mess. The Cowboys, Dak is on IR, and they traded inexplicably for a wide receiver today. They gave up a 4
to get Jonathan Mingo.
When they put Dak on IR. What are you doing, Jarrah?
Hold on. The Chiefs got DeAndre Hopkins for a conditional 5th.
Correct. Why would you acquire anybody when you're putting Dak on IR? To make Trey Lance look good?
All right, so you've got it's looking. I think right now you could say that you've got 6 locks in the NFC to make the playoffs. Detroit,
Commies, Philly, Detroit, Green Bay, Minnesota,
Atlanta.
6-3.
They've got a 2-game lead.
Yeah, they're in,
and they've already swept the Bucs head to head.
Yeah,
so they're going to win that division.
I still think I'm curious to see how the West shakes out.
But to me, and then right now you have your wild cards are 6-2, 6-2, 6-3.
Yeah,
so
a lot of ground to make up.
Rams are a frisky 4-4. Niners are probably the most dangerous 4-4 of those teams, and then they're going to have to get in. And the Bears oh man,
yeah. I thought they'd come out of the bye week better than that. I think I had Arizona beating them, but I'm shocked.
No, you did. You had the other. That was the other.
But it was also like I just thought they'd come out of the bye week rolling because they kind of went into it rolling.
Yep,
and they're not. So that's a little bit of a surprise as well.
It was a 10-5 for me and a 9-6 for you. We were great. So remember, we had 3 differences. I got Miami against Buffalo.
Yep.
You got Arizona over Chicago, and I got the Vikings. Although it was a little bit of a sweat. It was setting up for backdoor Joe Flacco.
It was
real set up.
It was really set up.
But they settled for the field goal because they needed 2 possessions, so they needed a field goal as well. So they took the field goal.
Perfect. Thanks, boys.
Thank you.
Appreciate you on that.
Yeah.
Trade deadline is today at 4. Multiple reports saying we have traded Zadarius Smith to the Lions. We've been talking about this for a while, that this seemed like the logical place for Zadarius to be traded. The reported compensation is a 7th rounder to Detroit in exchange for a 5th and a 6th. A 5th in 2025, a 6th in 2026. I really like him.
I like Zadarius. I think he's very good. It's hard for me to get. As I said yesterday on the program, the Browns don't have a lot of leverage in this moment. So you weren't going to get, they wanted a 4, a 5, and a 6 for a 7, probably nets out to the same comp as a 4, but it's not a 4.
No, it's not.
That when you take that level of compensation, what it says to me, and now you could say, I hope that, I can trade a 5 for a future 4 and then a future 4 for a future 3 and all of that, but that's many, many years down the road. They do have ammunition now, though. We have a lot of picks next year.
9, I think, right?
To try to move around. So maybe that's what they're trying to do. I don't know. When you look at the compensation there, where it's not an automatic, like, oh man, that blows my side. We're going to get a player of consequence back. It feels like we know what this season is, and we do know what it is, but this further cements it. And then there's also the report from Tom Pelissero that they are releasing Quentin Jefferson, who had a career high 6 sacks last year, did have a sack this year. He's been inactive, though, ever since Mike Hall's come back. And so you're saying, hey, if we're going to play another defensive tackle, it's probably going to be the guy we drafted, Juwan Briggs. Go. There's a team out there for Quentin Jefferson. Go play for whoever you want.
So, coming out of the emotional win against Baltimore the week before, I love the way you articulated it, because I think it was so on point for the audience to understand, like, how we believe this ought to go, and that was with one foot in 2024 and another in 2025. But you could keep the foot in 24 as long as you win.
Winning.
But once the winning stops, then what's the point of keeping the foot in 2024? Now, as I say that, I don't think in any way that the notion of there's no tank. That is not the way. You have too many great building blocks here. It's more of a shift I would think a shift in philosophy of, all right, if we got to play this out. The playoffs are really, really uphill. Let's see, of our guys who we've drafted, who we have under contract, let's see who can play. And then we'll have a better feeling about how to attack the offseason once we know who on our roster can play.
All right. So I did this yesterday on the offense, but we can talk through it. Why not? Do you want to do that, or do you want to do another segment?
Let's go.
Okay.
Let's go.
So quarterback. Who do I want to see at the quarterback? I want to see DTR. I know you're
that's it.
I know you said in Columbus. If the situation were different, I totally understand sticking with Jameis. Jameis has the ability to do some very, very great things, and we know who he is. There's going to be high highs, low lows, big plays, big turnovers, all of it. So we know that.
DTR is the only on-roster solution for next season.
So he's the only in-house solution if it happens. So there are 2 things you need to know. Number 1, can he actually play? And what does that look like as he gets reps and plays 8 games? And then the second part is, and it's unfortunately a question that needs to be answered, can he play 8 games in a row?
Yes.
We just don't know that. He has not gotten,
No.
He got knocked out of his 3rd game in his rookie year, then came back from 1 game, got hurt, and then in this year, in the 1 game he was in, he hurt a finger. Can he play 8 games? That's a question we need to have answered. The running back position, I think, is about, can Nick Chubb get back? It's clear that he's not the same runner that he was. And that's, by the way, shouldn't expect it to be. I think every week he'll get better. This is probably an injury that 2 years until you're back to your explosiveness.
I feel like you and I were pretty crystal clear with the audience on that about that you're not getting. There's just no way. It's a catastrophic. It's going to take.
We were hoping, I think at the beginning, 80%.
80%
would be great, and that's where we get. And then Ford and Strong are still young guys. I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. like to see more Pierre Strong.
Yeah.
I feel, especially some of the plays, and you can't really telegraph, okay, well, this guy's in, it's going to be this kind of a play. But there was one where we threw kind of a swing out to Nick Chubb. That seems like a play to me. Like, throw that to, we got big news there.
Two different. Marshawn Lattimore to the Commies.
Yep.
And Mike Williams to the Steelers.
If we were in it, that's a guy that I would have loved to have seen. Mike Williams hasn't been good this year, but that means good news there from the Steelers standpoint for people, good news for us, but Gibbe won't like this.
Yeah.
That means that they're not getting DK Metcalf. That was their real target. So this is their
second. Yeah.
Yeah. Which is,
by the way, a fifth. That's exactly what Jarrah gave up for the guy who has 12 catches.
no, that's actually less.
Oh, is it conditional?
No, Jarrett gave up a fourth.
Oh, that's right, a 4.
Yeah.
A 4 for a guy with 12.
By the way, it's 121. Screw both of you.
Peepaw, Gibby.
Pittsburgh Peepaw. Have some nachos.
Oh my
Calm down.
gosh. Get yourself. I'm gonna get some Permani over here for you.
Okay.
Make you feel better.
All right.
Little
so
Iron City locker. Unacceptable. He says.
all right. Wide receivers. It's the same. Judy under contract. Elijah Moore still on a rookie deal. Not an old player by any stretch. Does he have a long-term future here? Tillman, who's been the number one PPR receiver in the NFL over the last 3 weeks.
Isn't that wild? Since the move to James.
Since the move to James. Well, no, since the trade of
of Amari.
because one of those games includes Deshaun and DTR.
Yep.
And then I want to see some Jamari Thrash. Does Jamari Thrash have anything, of note that we'd like to see? Tight end, there really isn't anybody to see from a young standpoint.
Nope.
I mean, it's Chief, and Chief should be here for a while. On your offensive line, it's really about DeJuan Jones. And then if, to me, the shocker move today would be, and these are not scores, but I would imagine there's a team that's in contention that's going to make a call about Joel Bitonio.
I would sure think so, yeah.
Similar to the Hoff situation.
And then you have that conversation. If that happens, you call Joe, and you say, what do you
want to do?
Yeah.
If he were to get moved, I think it opens up an opportunity, and I'd be curious, can Jed Wills play guard?
Yeah, I think you've got the rest of this season because Kevin made the announcement yesterday, right? DeJuan's your left tackle for the rest of the season. He's earned that starting job. So then I think at this point you have to have the conversation with Jed Wills. Do you want to be a Cleveland Brown? If so, these are the positions we'd like you to try.
Right tackle or guard.
Yep.
Yeah, because I could see a team calling about Jack Conklin, and at this point you would have to listen to that phone call
for sure
as well.
And remember, Jed was a right tackle
in college
at Alabama, so he could go back to that.
What you've got in Posick, Teller, Conklin, and while initially the start of the season wasn't great for the interior of our line, but they've been much better the last few games, much better. Unfortunately, because of the injuries to Luke Whippler, the injury to Nick Harris, there really isn't that. There isn't a young. There really aren't any other young linemen to look at this year. Now, if we get way down the road, perhaps Javion Cohen. Look at Javion Cohen, who's an undrafted free agent rookie.
Like
maybe you give him some run at guard. Oh, and then there's Zach Zinner, who has struggled.
Yeah,
he needs to work this whole offseason on his anchor. Good run blocker. He has not been able to withstand bull rushes yet, and that's going to be huge for him. But he's a guy that, get him reps, but he's going to have to really lock in his technique and his strength. And he's coming off of the broken leg, so you get that. So that's really what you want to see on offense, right? Defensively, on the defensive line, with the trade of Za'Darius, that really paves the way for a guy who's been playing great football, like great football. It's a shame Alex Wright is hurt, but Isaiah McGuire.
Yeah.
Isaiah McGuire, and then at the defensive tackle position, it's going to be about Mike Hall, and then I would imagine at some point Briggs will get some opportunities. Linebacker, Diabate, keep getting opportunities. JOK, hopefully we can get him back. And then it's, Winston Reed, who they like a great deal. It's Buki Watson. Mm-hmm. So you got plenty of linebackers that you can play, get reps, and have them look. Defensive backfield, they're all young.
They're all kids,
Cameron Mitchell, MJ, Greg, Denzel, they're all in that. And then the safety position, to me now, this is where the one change happens. You've got Juan, you've got Grant, you got Rodney. At some point, Rod's reps need to go to Ronnie Hickman and to DeAnthony Bell because those are your
see
young
if one
guys.
of them.
They
both have done it.
They've both been good whenever they've played. So But they're going to be on 25. Rodney McLeod's his last season, so he's not playing 25. He said he does not want to be traded. I respect that. Now, if it came up and he wanted to, let's see. We'll see.
Yeah, and the other thing that's you're gonna see around the league today, and I think you're seeing it, for example, in New Orleans, is there an off ramp to New Orleans started 2-0. They've lost 7 in a row. They traded Lattimore this morning. Are there more guys who they trade between now and the deadline at 4? Because they're sitting there at 2-7 going, hey, it might not be the worst thing to draft number 1 overall. If this is a Shedeur Sanders and only draft, let's be ready to take him.
Yep.
So that seems to be something that could be happening today as the trade deadline nears. Not for us, but for others in the league. And New Orleans came to mind to me with the trade of Lattimore, and we'll see if they're even more active. Fired the coach on Monday rather. So maybe all of that starts to mean something there. So we'll keep you updated on all that stuff. Go ahead, buddy.
We're talking about the Saints. How did things end? How are we where we are with Michael Thomas?
So I was doing a show Monday with his college teammate, a man you're quite familiar with, Tyvis Powell.
That's right.
And I asked him that very question. How did this happen? How did this get so messed up here? And he basically said, look, it was the injury stuff. Like you get banged up,
of course.
and then that's what started to
on,
lead to
on
it.
field.
But I'm guessing there must have, and he didn't have an answer to this, but my hunch is just he took a great deal of blame for always being hurt.
Yeah.
Like, why are you soft? Why do you get hurt? Are you showing up in shape? Like, we gave you the money. There's a great deal of bitterness, I think, from organization towards him because they paid him, and then the injury started to happen.
They paid him after he had 749 yards, and then he never had more than 500 in a season again.
Done, yeah. And so, like, that happened. I think the fan base has animosity towards him because of that, too.
But he also had some, like, teammate scuffles.
He did. I mean, it's strange, too, because the one thing he can do is catch the football.
Yeah.
Like, in space, around contact, like he'll catch the football.
Yeah.
And when's the last time he played?
I was looking this up. So 2 years ago. We had talked about this a little bit yesterday.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
So he went the start to his career was
didn't he have 140 catches in one season or something like that?
So he led the league in back-to-back years. So he's a second-round pick, 2016. Rookie year, 92, 1137, and 9 touchdowns. Isn't even a Pro Bowler. Second year, Pro Bowler, 104 catches, 1245, and 5. Third year, Pro Bowler and first-team All-Pro, 125 catches on 147 targets.
Jeez.
1,405 yards, 9 touchdowns, and is a Pro Bowler and a first-team All-Pro. Next year, leads the league, 149 catches on 185 targets.
149.
1,725 yards, 9 touchdowns. Led the league 108 yards per game. Pro Bowler, first-team All-Pro, Offensive Player of the Year. 2020, he gets hurt after 7 games, but through 7 games only had 40 for 438, no touchdowns. Doesn't play at all in 2021, which was a shocker. Plays 3 games in 22, has 16 for 171 and 3 touchdowns, gets hurt again. 23, he ends up playing 10 games, has 448 yards, 1 touchdown, and then is not playing this year. Nowhere.
Is done. Yeah. No, it's a gold jacket start. It's as good a start to a career as anyone's ever had. His first 4 years. 149, did you say? 17?
Yeah, and then he's been suspended for violating the league's personal conduct policy. He was suspended for, I think, 2 weeks, and he's been reinstated as of September 10th, and that's it.
And that's the list. All right,
not a fan of Derek Carr's, though.
No, not. Those are your hot topics of the day. Hot topics presented by University Hospitals, official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. We will keep you updated on the trade deadline day as it happens. We'll try to do a little college football, Nate, coming up. See how you do on how you think the 12-team bracket will look tonight in the college football. So you have that to look forward to. Go around the league. One thought around every game: the Microsoft Minute, always riveting Microsoft Minute coming up. Z's final thoughts. Rodney McLeod as well. A little bit of a little mailbag on a Tuesday edition. We're off and running. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Are you ready to give the home the facelift it deserves at Renew Home Exteriors? They've got the deal you've been waiting for. Right now, no money down, 0% interest for 5 years on all roofing and siding jobs. Combine your roofing and siding projects, and Renew will take an additional 5% off. That's right. No money down, 0% interest for 5 years, and 5% off when you knock out both jobs at once. Don't wait. Upgrade your home. Save big with Renew Home Exteriors. Visit RenewEstimate.com to book today. Renew Home Exteriors, superior products and superior service. Before we do college football, Nate, the Athletics have officially removed Oakland from their team's name. They are just the Athletics.
Sad.
It really is.
Sad.
It's just pure suck.
Like that this has been allowed to happen is a bit ridiculous.
It's not quite the Cleveland Browns moving to Baltimore, but it's in the ballpark. It's very similar to me of like the Minnesota North Stars going to Dallas. Like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Sucks.
Doesn't even make any sense.
No, it's awful.
It's like the Lakers have gone to Los Angeles.
It's just brutal. I mean, it's an iconic franchise, and it's a shame what was allowed to happen.
And I feel like they're making a move similar to what the Chargers did by going to L.A. They're going to be the lost cause in that city.
You know, you'd have to talk to somebody who lived in Vegas year-round to know, like, is there an appetite for all of this?
There's none for baseball.
Like, the hockey got in first. Give them credit because they own it. Like, that is Vegas's team is the Golden Knights. Like, they own that. They were the first. Hockey hasn't gotten much right over the last 30 years, but that one they got right. And then, obviously, the NFL is the NFL. Like, and an NBA team's coming. Like, they're going to do an expansion with Vegas and Seattle. Like, can that city handle all that?
I don't think they can.
It's always the number one. It's always the number one road trip for every team. I think it's different in NFL because there's only so many of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think you go. What I noticed with like on the Blue Jackets front when they go out there, it's like the first time they went out there was a huge deal. Like a lot of their fans would go out, but then after you go once, like you're not going back.
Yeah.
So then it's going to come down to: is there enough corporate money in Las Vegas, and is there enough fandom to do the rest of it?
Yep.
That'll be the operation there. I mean, they got to build the stadium first. It's got to be one that's climate controlled because you can't play in the summer. So
no, you can't.
That's a bit of a mess. All right, you ready to try this? I think we got the rest of these things.
So that's fine. I have Jake Trotters, our great friend.
Well, I'll give you
his
mine.
Top 12 his 12-team prediction.
Hold on. Before we do this, let me. Okay.
I have it. Here's
I just want to know how many does he get.
All right. So he needs to know the way that the bracket works, though.
Okay.
So just so our audience understands, the 5 plays the 12.
Yep.
That feeds to the 4 line.
Yep.
Okay. Then the 8 plays the 9. That feeds to the 1-9. The 7 plays the 10. Feeds the 2, and the 6 plays the 11. Feeds the 3.
Yep.
They're not reseeding once you're in. So,
and then 2, 3, 1, 4.
Yeah.
But the top 4 are the power conference winners, correct?
Yes.
So no matter what, you can't have 2 SECs in the top 4.
Nor 2 Big Tens.
Okay.
Correct.
All right. So
now, here's a quick thing, though. They can absolutely rate them however they want. It's what Ohio State, I think, very likely they're either going to be the 2 or the 3 tonight overall in their poll, but there can be no higher than the 5 seed.
Right.
So the poll, this is how stupid this is. Why are they doing a poll?
No poll.
All they're going to do is entrap themselves.
Yes.
That's all they're going to do. Don't do the poll. Say if the bracket were released today, here's the bracket. But the reality is this is an hour-long television show on ESPN, so they're releasing a poll. But there's no reason to release a poll. It's stupid. And they're going to entrap themselves. All right, you ready?
And what are the – okay. I think so.
Oh, boy.
Big 10, SEC, ACC, Big 12?
Yep.
Get autos? Okay. All right. 1. Do you want order or do you want me to just –
Do you want to do what the bracket will look like?
I'll try.
Do the bracket instead of – don't do 1 through – because then you're going to have to – like, where do I put Boise or whatever, you know?
Okay. Oregon is going to be the 1.
Mm-hmm. I think that's fair.
Georgia, the 2.
Yep.
The U, the 3.
Yep.
BYU, 4.
Nailed
All right.
it. Good job,
Jake
college
Trotter,
football.
that was Jake Trotter's 4.
Okay. All right. 5, I'm going to go Ohio State.
Yeah, that's what I have as well.
6, I'm going to go Texas.
Yep, same.
Wait, this is
So far, 6 for 6 compared to Mr. Trotter.
7. 7, I'm going to go Alabama.
Okay, I'm going to be different from you there.
Okay. I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
if I even get 12 teams that will make sense, I'm going to be really pleased. I think because it was a close game, they'll still be in it. I don't know if they're 8. At this, I'm just going to list teams now. I'll go in order, but I really don't have any feel for the order. Penn State.
Yes, Penn State will be in. They'll be
Okay.
in the bracket for sure.
Um,
One of them I don't think you're going to get. Even college football, Nate, as adept as you are on the sport and the pulse that you have on the sport, I don't think you're going to get a team that I think will be in the 8-9 slot.
all right, 12, I'm going to have Boise.
That's it. That's a lock. That's as safe as can get. Yep.
So I need 2 more.
Yep.
No, 3 more.
3 more?
3 more. You've got everybody on Trotter's list.
So there's one more Big Ten team, traditional Big Ten team. Here's your hint. Zago, big fan.
Wisconsin.
No. Old coach.
Oh, Indiana. Yeah, Indiana. I should have known that.
Unbeaten Indiana.
Unbeaten Indiana.
Indiana.
All right.
And then
You're missing.
is Notre Dame any good? Okay.
There you go.
Notre Dame. And then my last one.
You
Iowa
could- you
State
could-
lost, right?
You could say that their anthem is a way of life.
Tennessee. Okay. So the other, I didn't know between Tennessee or LSU.
Did you see him today?
Who? Cole?
Yeah.
No.
Jesus.
On what medium?
Instagram. Save it for the break.
So pretty good.
Not bad. This is what I have Oregon is the 1, Georgia the 2, Miami the 3, BYU's the 4, Ohio State the 5, Texas the 6, the 7 I have is Penn State, the 8 I have is Tennessee, the 9 I have is Indiana, the 10 I have is Notre Dame, and the 11, and I think this is where it could get interesting. Like, it's at Alabama with 2 losses, who plays 2-loss LSU this weekend, or do they throw a curveball, and this is conspiracy Bo working here, and say, what's the best way to get people talking about this? Because this doesn't even matter. None of this matters. What if we make SMU the 11, and they're worthy? They're 8-1. SMU's the 11 at 8-1, second team out of the ACC, and 2-loss Bama, no dice. You're out. And it doesn't matter because we can redo this at the end of the year and
Sure.
put Bama wherever we want. It's completely subjective. But they are on – this is on ESPN. The Southeastern Conference is a partner with ESPN. One of their biggest entities is a little program called the Paul Feinbaum Show. How will that show be on Wednesday if Alabama's not in the initial bracket?
Love it. Must listen. Unbelievable.
So-
Radio gold.
Yeah, so to me, that's my curveball is they leave Alabama out. And Alabama has 2 losses. They're ranked 11th, I think, in the AP.
They could be in next week.
They'll be in next week. They beat LSU and they move back in. But this allows for – because remember, they're making a television show tonight, most importantly. So there will be something shocking in this. How did Trotter have it? Does he have Bama in?
He does.
So he has
He had all of Z's.
minus – so he has SMU out.
Yeah, but there were out of the writers, half of the writers for college football for ESPN have SMU in.
Does anybody have LSU in?
No, they just lost last week. They're like 15th or 16th. They play Bama this week, though.
If
They
win,
could ruin Bama's
They're both
season.
6-2.
whoever loses that game,
Lose or go home.
Yeah.
Georgia, who is second, they play Ole Miss this week, and then they play Tennessee next week. If Georgia loses one of them, and their losses are at Alabama, at Ole Miss, or to Tennessee, what do you start doing with these SEC teams that have 2 and 3 losses? Because there's going to be a bunch of them. How do you judge them? How do you judge that versus Iowa State at 11-1, or SMU at 11-1, or Miami, who does not have a single ranked win? They have not beaten a single ranked team this year, and they sit undefeated 3rd in the country. Nobody knows if they're 3rd or not.
Right.
BYU's only loss is a 3-point loss to. I'm sorry, SMU's only loss a 3-point loss to BYU. That's it. They whipped Pitt. It was undefeated last weekend. Yeah,
Anarella. Sorry, buddy.
Sorry, buddy. But I think they're going to throw some curveball to get people talking, and I think the easiest curveball to throw would be to not have Alabama in this. I think if they do that, then they get everything that they want. They get all the conversation, all the dialogue, all of it. By the way, wouldn't be bad to be the 5 if you're the Buckeyes.
No, then you get BYU.
So you get BYU. Like if somehow, I don't know how they could avoid. There's really no scenario.
BYU, Oregon.
They need Oregon to lose. There's no scenario where Ohio State winning out isn't playing in the Big Ten championship game. But being the 5 is really a sweet spot. Whoever that is, like if that's Texas, that would be money. You get BYU, and then in your quarterfinal you're playing. I'm sorry, you get Boise State, and in your quarterfinal you're playing BYU.
Yeah,
that's the path. And then all of a sudden you play the 1.
You got to play the 1,
but that's in the semifinal. Like
sure.
you're good. Conversely,
it
like
gets you to the Final Four.
Yeah. Conversely, like if you're let's say you're the 6. Let's say you're the 6, and you have to play. Like I have SMU the 11, but let's say Bama's the 11. Let's say you're Ohio State and you're the 6, and you got to play Bama to get to Miami to get through Georgia. Like those paths are not the same.
Or Notre Dame.
Right. It's just much more difficult. So I think a bunch of people don't realize what's coming tonight on that front. Like I think people think it's going to be 1 through 12. For top 4 seeds get buys, but at the conference winners are really going to throw a monkey wrench in that.
We're going to move a couple things around just for timing.
Anything you want, Gibby?
Let's go.
Microsoft Minute.
Do you want to do the Microsoft Minute next?
I think he's ready.
Let's put Sunday's
ready.
game to bed. It's time to get serious, kids.
Yeah, we got to get serious. Microsoft Minute coming up next. One thought around the NFL coming up after that. It's a mailbag edition as well. You listen to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet. Sports betting partner, your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Boost your game day this season with the Ballybet Sportsbook app. Place your first bet of $50 or more and you get $150 back in bonus bets. Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Time for the Microsoft Minute. It's powered by Microsoft Surface. Powering a better game. Here are Dr. Z's final thoughts on the game against the Chargers. Dr. Z.
Wasn't a pretty game, but I'm going to give you one thing from each phase that should maybe give you a little bit of comfort.
I have my pen.
We're going to start on the offensive side with Cedric Tillman. Cedric Tillman, once again, a banner performance. Cedric Tillman now, over the last 3 weeks, 21 catches, over 200 yards, 225, 3 touchdowns. He's top 5 in the league in targets, catches, yards, touchdowns over the last 3 weeks, and he's been the number 1 PPR wide receiver. He's playing fast. He's making tough catches. He's showing, speaking of swag, toe drag swag that we saw on that touchdown. So I am very pleased with the development of Cedric Tillman. He's been looking spectacular. On the defensive side of the football, a lot to like, 6 sacks. But I'm going to talk about a young man because this is much like Cedric Tillman was given the chance to fly following the trade of Amari Cooper. I believe Isaiah McGuire will be able to soar like an eagle now that Zadarius Smith has been traded. Isaiah McGuire last week, 3 pressures in this game. But let's talk for a second about the body of work of Isaiah McGuire. And again, these are, as you know, these are grades that are somewhat subjective. However, I think you may find it interesting that Isaiah McGuire is the number 2 graded defensive player on the Cleveland Browns at Pro Football Focus for this season, behind only Myles Garrett. I think it should also be noted that in 172 snaps, total snaps, in just 83 pass rushing snaps, he has generated 12 pressures. If you were to double that, 166, 24 pressures. If you were to double that and then have it again, am I making you tired, Bo?
It's a long night.
No, this is an intense minute.
I know how it is. I'm into it. I'm locked in. Just a long night.
I'm talking about Isaiah McGuire.
I know. And here's
an
the deal.
ascending player.
Here's what Isaiah McGuire.
Hey, come on.
And
here's the deal.
Here's what
I'm being serious now.
I know it. Here's what Cedric Tillman and Isaiah McGuire do for the Cleveland Browns. If they live up to their abilities, one less box you got to check in the offseason. That's my contribution. Very serious
like it.
Contribution.
It is. So going back to what I was saying, 83 becomes 166. Throw another half, which is another 40, becomes 209. He has 12. He has 24. Another half of that is 6. He has 30 pressures. He would actually have more pressures than Zadarius Smith, who has been excellent this year, who has 27 pressures on 204 pass rushing snaps. So Isaiah McGuire, right now, you're looking for a long-term answer. Potentially he's there. Alex Wright was playing great as well, but Alex Wright now we know has been lost for the season. But in terms of making plays behind the line of scrimmage, making plays in the backfield, Isaiah McGuire has been sensational. We tip our cap to him. So there you go. That's 2. Now you're saying special teams.
That's right.
Part of it has not been special, but you know what has been special? Let's be honest about it. Corey Bojorquez. Corey Bojorquez this season is averaging 52 yards per punt. Amongst punters with 50 punts this season, that is the most in the NFL. You may say to me, Nathan, he's the only punter with 50 punts in the league this year. Fair. Amongst all punters, it's 3rd best in the NFL. A net average of 44. He's punted for 2,600 yards. There's only one other punter that's even punted for 2,200. He has 23 punts inside the opponent's 20. Is that number 1? Yes.
Jesus, really is.
Yes, it is. He has managed 23 punts inside the 20 with only 3 touchbacks. 23 out of 26 attempts to get it inside the 20 have been perfect. You talk about some of the other people in the league that have had high numbers of punts inside the 20. Let's take Bryce Behringer, for example. 21 inside 24 touchbacks. That's 33% more than our guy. Corey Bojorquez, you have been spectacular.
God, he has.
So you're talking about three things. Tillman, McGuire, Bojorquez. CTB in the MM.
Fantastic job out of you, as always.
Thank you. Thank you for waking up and not only waking up, for participating.
I thought he made a couple of decent points.
They were very good points.
Just decent at best. One thought around the league coming up next. You'll listen to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. From a team of injury lawyers dedicated to every client every day, call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. Elk and Elk's proud partner of your Cleveland Browns. One thought around every game in the National Football League.
Ooh, I'm excited for this.
Hello, Gibby.
Hi, boys. Let's get right to it. Week 8 in the National Football League, and we'll start with the team that some weeks they look like they're still gutless, but then they totally redeem themselves. The Atlanta Falcons are 6-3 and now a 2-game lead in the NFC South.
It's really a 3-game
lead. They take
lead.
down Dallas. 27-21, Cowboys fall to 3-5 today, putting Dak Prescott on IR for the next 4 weeks. Bo Bishop, one thought.
I think the one thought here is on Dallas. They seem like the logical place to get Belichick on a quick fire for McCarthy all offseason. They did nothing to improve this roster in the offseason. They went into this season like with Dak upset and CeeDee Lamb upset. It just felt like Jarrah sabotaged his own team. And now Dak's going on IR, and he trades for a receiver. He's a young receiver, but who's got 12 catches in Carolina on the year, and they gave up a 4 to get it. Like, what is he doing down there?
I don't know.
It makes no sense.
They're suspending Zeke? Like,
they didn't. Well,
how does that happen?
You
Because
trade
Zeke
a
doesn't go to
fourth-round pick
meetings.
for a guy.
I
that
know,
you
but
missed
like,
3
how does it
meetings.
get to that point?
because he's.
It's such a strange that whole.
I mean, they
thing is
basically
weird.
they traded a fourth-round pick for Jordan.
Yeah, right.
Jordan can go play wide receiver.
Dr.
Put those
J can
numbers
play
up.
some
I am
wide receiver.
Quite
Yeah.
confident.
Get him out there.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, I'll take the Falcons side of this. I mean, Kirk is back, 19 of 24, 222, 3 touchdowns. They're good. Darnell Mooney having a great season. That was one at the beginning of the year. Remember, that was one of the big sleepers. I liked that move. He personally recruited him to come there. And even with London going down and Pitts only having 1 catch, it didn't matter. They were just so efficient, so effective. They're a good football team. I like the Falcons very, very much.
Bills 30, Dolphins 27 in the AFC East. Bills have won 4 in a row. Dolphins have now lost 3 in a row. Bills in complete command of the AFC East at 7-2. Nathan.
7 targets versus 14 targets. If I said to you, you had to allocate targets between the following pairs, Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, or Devin Achane and Jonnu Smith.
Oh no.
Pretty sure you would say 14 to Hill and Waddle, 7 to, that's not how it's been working. They are not getting the football to their stars on offense. Now, they scored 27. They were in this game. It took a late, I think, 60-yard field goal or something like that from
60,
Bass
yep.
to win it. This was it. That was the nail in the coffin. Tua was great, 25 of 28, 231, 2 touchdowns. They ran it for 149 and 5 yards a carry, and they lost. They're unfortunately not a complete football team, and this was a game they had to win, and now their season is over.
Yeah.
You got to wonder, do they trade Tyreek Hill at the deadline? Is there somebody who can make an offer?
That'd be something for in the next 2 hours if somebody made a swing for him.
Why wouldn't you?
Yeah. Recoup some of that draft capital. They're going to have to try and flip it on the fly a little bit.
Yeah.
This is a game for Buffalo where they weren't their best and they still won, which to me makes them very dangerous. Right now it seems to me like there are 3 teams in the AFC that could do it. Kansas City, these guys, and obviously Baltimore. They seem like they've separated from everybody else. This is a real quality win for Buffalo because Miami threw everything they had at them.
Up next, Bengals 41, Raiders 24. Obviously, a lot of changes to the Raiders since Sunday's game. The Bengals improved to 4-5. Bo Bishop, one thought.
I think the big thought is Burrow was really good in this game. I think he had 5 touchdowns, but was really upset with some of the execution in the third quarter. This visibly upset on the sidelines. I think this has more to do with what's happening with T. Higgins, who missed another game, and then Jermaine Burton, who he stuck his neck out for and said, like, this kid's on the come, and then kid doesn't go to meetings. They got to suspend him. It's a mess. So, like, I think that's what it
Yelled
was
at him
about.
outside, and then he was at the casino
Yeah, not
gambling.
having it. Not having it. Yeah. So that's what this is about to me. Their next 3 is crazy. It's Thursday against Baltimore. It's Chargers, I think Chargers at home.
Chargers
and then
got
Pittsburgh.
flexed to Sunday night.
That's Sunday night, and then Pittsburgh. So they go Baltimore, Chargers, Pittsburgh. Next 3, they're 4-5. They've got to be 6-6. They got to win 2 of the next 3.
They can do it. I think you're burying the lead here. Chase Brown, what have I been saying all year? Let's let this guy live a little bit. How about, would you like 32 touches? I would. Would you like 157 total yards and a touchdown? Yeah, I sure would.
So strange because he was the best in camp.
He's been the best all year.
It's so weird.
And
how it
now,
took this long.
and this was with Zach Moss. Zach Moss is done for the year, but then they go and they trade for Khalil Herbert today.
Yeah.
Don't like that. On the other side of it, welcome back, Norval.
It's back.
Norv's
Boy.
back, baby. Norv in Vegas.
13 years.
Oh, man, I love it. Norv with the Raiders. I love it.
I have no idea how that goes.
I love it. By the way, Gesicki is, I don't know why they don't use him more. He seems like a pretty nice little mismatch for them.
Norm is 72 years old.
Norv
Norv is
felt like he was 72 when he was here.
I know, and he has not been elite since he was with the Cowboys in like the early 90s.
Well, someone takes umbrage with that.
Wait a second. Norval, my first year here.
Thought maybe he coordinated a Jeff George offense that I was unaware of.
No, he was here.
I believe he was with Jeff
I remember
George.
he was here. I'm sure he was. He's coached everywhere.
Let's see. Hold on.
He could sling it
Hold,
around.
please. Yes. Thank you, Gibbe. You're right.
He had some good plays. We just didn't have the people.
All right. Hold on a second. I think things are being missed right now. The year was 2013.
Oof.
Norval was the OC
Yeah. correct.
here with the Cleveland Browns.
Mm-hmm.
In that season, Norval led our quarterbacks, who were Jason Campbell, Brandon Whedon, and Brian Hoyer, to throw for 4,040 yards and 26 touchdowns. Josh Gordon had 87 for a league-high 1646 and 9. Jordan Cameron had 80 for a 917 and
I think
7.
he was a Pro Bowler.
Both were Pro Bowlers. That was my first year. Norval knew how to dial up the vertical passing game, folks.
Can you name the 3 places he was a head coach without looking? Do you have it up?
No, I don't. I would assume Dallas for a
Never
stint.
Dallas.
No, he's
Miami?
only OC there.
Offensive coordinator in Dallas. Never Miami.
Washington.
Yep.
I believe with
He
Jeff
went.
George.
He went to Washington after Dallas.
Yep.
So they hired him.
Raiders.
Raiders. Nailed it. One more.
I don't know why I want to say Chargers, but that is
Nailed
that
it. Right before he got here. He was the head coach of the Chargers. Those are his three stops as head coach. He's been all over the place.
What year was he the coach of Washington?
94 to 2000.
I used to do the Ron Turner show when he was head coach.
He was the head coach of
Illinois.
Washington for that long?
94 to 2000. Yeah, because, I mean, he was so – I'm pretty sure they brought him there to get Heath Schuler right.
And in the year 2000, that
Farad.
was with Jeff George, baby. I knew they were together.
Knew it. Had to be. Yeah, they both bounced around. So there you go.
Next, from the AFC, the Tennessee Titans get
I'm
their
good. I don't need to talk
second
about
win of the
this.
year. They beat the Patriots in overtime 20-17. Do we even need a thought?
I have no thoughts.
Hold
No
on.
thoughts, no thoughts.
Did anybody watch the play that got this game into overtime?
I did not. No.
Drake May ran around for about a year. The New England Patriots had one lineman who didn't block anybody and just stood around going like this, and May ran back and forth and back. It was like 30 seconds, and then hit Ramondre Stevenson, who has had one of the craziest stat lines ever. 10 carries, 16 yards, 5 catches, 38, 2 touchdowns. It was a great fantasy play, but boy, wasn't that pretty. Big win for the Titans. Jeff Jarrett was fired up about it. Texted me.
Big win for the Titans.
Big win for the Titans.
Turned everything around.
2-6, baby.
To the NFC East we go. Commies 7-2 on the year. Obviously, you have been buyers today on the trade deadline day. They take down the G-Men 27-22, and I feel like the Giants have to change their name because the G-Man shouldn't be represented
Associated
by
with
these
Drek.
idiots.
Let me tell you something right now. You score 7 points in the first half. You score 15 in the second half. Too little, too late. Malik Neighbors didn't catch a pass in the first half of this game.
Are we sure
Seems
he's going to be?
impossible.
That
No, I think
Okay.
he's great. I think
That
they're bozos.
can't-
Does
that-
he care?
That cannot
That I
be.
don't know.
Jaden Daniels remains elite. Terry McLaurin, one another weird stat line. 2 catches, 19 yards, 2 touchdowns.
Are the Commies the second best team in the NFC?
Fiction.
Detroit, then them.
No.
I know they're 4-4, and I know I have bias for my youth, but like if you were saying neutral field, one game to advance them against the Niners right now, I would take the Niners.
But
to
it's
win
the faith on what San Francisco has been, not what
that game.
necessarily
McCaffrey's coming back
allegedly. When's that happening?
this week.
Is he really?
It
He's
could be
practicing.
as early as this week, they're saying.
He's practicing. He's looking good.
21-day window opened yesterday.
Here's another one for you. Here's another big picture Bo questions for you. If you're the Giants, Like, is that the place where Deion Sanders wants his kid to play? Of the teams that are 2-7,
No.
well,
Unless
it's New
he's
York.
Be the head coach.
New York.
It's New York. It's Malik Neighbors.
Yeah, I'd say yes. That sounds exactly like where he wants to be.
Right? I
Yes.
mean, because the other ones for him, New England, they have a quarterback. We're 2-7. Jacksonville's not. They're not. Tennessee, I don't know about Tennessee. I mean, I'm sure he'd like to play in Tennessee, but I don't know if they'll be quite bad enough. Vegas, I think he'd love that, but would he want to play with Antonio Pierce and that whole operation? It's so no stability there. Giants,
There's no way Antonio Pierce is the head coach of the Raiders next year.
I wouldn't think. Carolina will draft him. Carolina might draft him and make Deion the head coach. Tepper might do that. He might draft him and make Deion the head coach. Saints at 2-7. Would Deion want him there?
New Orleans?
I think
town.
of the teams that are 2-7, I think the Giants are the most
Yeah.
iconic.
Yeah, I like the Giants.
Now. I mean, it's been a long time since the Raiders have been. They're iconic, but it's been a long time since they've been consistently good.
Right.
Yeah.
Next, bad football part 2. Panthers 23,
Jeez.
Saints 22. Carolina, their second win of the year. Saints haven't won since week 2. Good
for Bryce Young. Good for Bryce Young. I
And
feel
then
like
you
he
have
has
their
been-
coach saying post-game, we're still not sure what we're
Correct.
going to do going forward at quarterback. What?
Come on. What are you talking about? The season's all about one thing.
You're
Continue
busy
to get
trading
Bryce
away
Young,
their
and you
12
got
catch wide
you know,
receiver.
Xavier Legette now has 4 touchdowns on the season. Jatavian Sanders that you drafted looking good, makes some big plays. Tight end Chuba Hubbard's having a nice year. At some point, are they ever going to get Jonathan Brooks back? Is he just
He's
taking the year off?
I don't know. I thought he was coming back for this week, but then you don't see anything.
No.
Yeah, it's strange. It's a weird loss for New Orleans. I did not see this game, but just jumping into the box score and seeing Cargo 18-31, 236, a touchdown and no picks. Kamara runs 29 for 155.
Yep.
And they somehow lose.
The stats in this one were nuts. So they outgained.
Weird. Like they just must not have been
They
able to score
outgained them
touchdowns.
427 to 246.
And lost.
And they didn't turn the ball over, and Carolina did.
Right.
And lost. Yeah,
so
it
just
makes-
all field goals,
makes
obviously,
no
is
sense.
what it must have been.
Back to the AFC we go. The Baltimore Ravens back on the winning track. They take down Denver 41-10.
Jeez.
Boy, Denver fans not pleased with their football team. You're 5-4.
Yeah, they should be.
You
Yeah,
talk
go
about
one thought.
a big 3 right now. Lamar, Derrick Henry, Zay Flowers. Every week it feels like they are dominant. This was a game that we both had wrong on the scores.
Yeah.
Kind of a shocker. Just an absolute beating.
They are when that boulder starts rolling downhill.
Oh, yeah.
There's for them.
No
there's
stopping
no
it.
stopping it. And you can be down 14-28 in the snap of a finger, because it just comes at you in waves. Yeah, I this is my most wrong. I really didn't think Henry would make that big of a difference.
Oh, he does. And Lamar
He's
and
incredible.
Lamar is playing better than he's ever played.
Yes, the
despite being a
combination.
2-time MVP. He was 16 of 19 for 280 yards.
It's like a video game.
It was a video game.
Yeah.
Perfect quarterback rating. He now has more perfect quarterback ratings than anybody in history.
Lamar
I think
does?
I read that. Yeah.
Jeez,
Don't quote me on it, but I think I read
that's
that.
wild.
The Eagles continue to keep pace with the Commies. They improved to 6-2 on the football season. Eagles 28, Jaguars 23, Jacksonville 2-7 on the year. Bo Bishop.
Wear those uniforms always. Philly.
Yep.
It looked gorgeous. Saquon with the reverse spin jump
insane.
over. I don't even know how you make
Did you see the reactions of the side? Have you seen the sideline ones?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh man, it's awesome.
What was that?
When you make some of the greatest athletes in the world
Yeah.
have a feeling of disbelief, there it is. By the way, nice job by the Jags.
Yeah, they did it for us. You see the last interception, though? Like, they're driving down.
Yeah, they could have
to
won.
go win the game.
They
They're
could have won.
inside the 20.
Yeah.
And the receiver falls down, and it looks
Yep.
like Trevor's just trying to throw it to the defensive back. They just go, what are we doing? How did
Yep.
this happen? But the scores.
The scores
Strong.
very strong. Brian Thomas, they say, will be back next week. So fantasy people who are very sad about his performance should be back.
NFC on NFC, the Cardinals are 5-4 and atop the NFC West. They take down the Reeling Bears, 29-9. Nathan Zagura.
DJ Moore hates Matt Eberflus
Oh, with the
with a passion.
yeah.
And I'm not sure he loves Caleb Williams either.
Does not seem
He
so.
was big Fields, yeah.
You saw the one where he walked off on the side. Now he tweaked his ankle or whatever. But there were multiple plays that I watched back where he was, because I was watching this game. This was in the afternoon, where he was wide open and would have had touchdowns, and the ball goes somewhere else. So he was not pleased by that. Arizona, there's nothing about this game that says that they had 29 points, except then you go, oh wait, they ran for 213 yards and 3 touchdowns. That's 6 yards a carry. That's pretty good. Murray was just 13 of 20. Marvin Harris, he is maddening as a fantasy owner.
It is because
It's so annoying.
They don't feed him. They don't. It's so. I give Gannon and Petzing a lot of credit, and Drew was here, and he would come in studio with us. A year that it was kind of like a year ago. You're like, are we sure that Kyler's the long-term answer there? They've found a way to win with him and put him in good spots. It's wild how inconsistent.
You want to know what his
Harrison's
last 5
looks
games are? You know his last 5 games?
Kyler's or Harrison's?
Marvin Harrison.
Yeah, go ahead.
2 catches for 36 yards. No catches when he got dinged up against Green Bay. 3 catches for 21 yards. 6 for 111 and a touchdown. 2 catches for 34 yards.
Yeah, it's
Bumped
bad.
us.
No.
Yeah, it's like
I know.
he's unplayable.
Yeah, it's so weird.
He's had 2 games with 100 yards.
He had the one
He's
where he
had-
had 100 and some at half.
130 and 2. That was week 2 against the Rams. He doesn't have another game with 70 yards. He's got 4 yards, 1 catch for 4 yards week 1. Week 2 was 8 for 130 and 2. Then 4 for 130 and 2. Then 5 for 64 and a touchdown. 5 for 45 and a touchdown. And then the stretch that we just talked about. 2 for 36, nothing. 3 for 21, 2 for 34. He's only had more than 7 targets twice all season, and those in 2 of the first 3 games.
It's very strange. I don't know what to make of how they're using him. Again, now I'm not watching their games start to finish.
He's
so
65th in the league
it's
with
strange.
28 catches.
It's
what are
weird.
we doing?
Very weird.
More from the NFC. Lions, the number 1 team in the NFC, and making a run for number 1 in the whole NFL. Take down the Packers in Green Bay. Gross game weather-wise. 24-14, Bo Bishop.
Are the Lions the most likable team in the NFL right now?
Yes.
I think they are.
Are
they're
they
the easiest-
winning? Is there a concern that they could win in spite of the coaches at some point?
No, I think he's pretty good. I think the only thing I worry about with them is, are they burning too hot too soon? Like,
I agree.
are they playing too well right now? Is this sustainable for 17 games over 18 weeks? That's my only concern with them, because there's not a whole lot of precedent for just being like, I mean, they are just a wagon right now.
Yeah.
And it's like, can you do that for 18 weeks?
And this game wasn't
I don't
even
know.
as close as 24-14.
It sure was not. No. So like, that's my only thing with them is, can you keep the coals burning this hot all the time without it combusting?
0.
Detroit, that was a game. They can finesse it and throw it around. They can get Jahmyr Gibbs in space in a dome and all that. This was their first outdoor game of the season, and it was played in very adverse conditions, and they went out there and just dominated the Green Bay Packers in Green Bay. Very impressive win. Game of the week. It was fun to watch.
From the NFC West, an impressive performance from Ramit. They take down the Seahawks in overtime, 26-20. I mean, the Rams are 4-4.
Yep.
I don't know how they're doing it,
Hold on.
but they're 4-4.
Seahawks had no business losing this game.
No, they didn't.
Geno Smith threw, I think, 2 red zone picks, including a pick 6. Now, this better be the Jackson Smith and Jigba coming out party. Like, he should be 8 to 10 targets every week. It's obvious he's that good. 7 for 180 on 13 targets. Should have had 260 yards in this game. But it was the turnovers. This was a game completely decided by turnovers. Period. Full stop. 3 picks, 2 in the red zone, 1 that became a touchdown. Otherwise, he threw for 363. He was 21-34 for 363. Take the picks away. That means he was 21, because those aren't completions. He's 21 for his other 31 passes for 363 and 3 touchdowns. But those turnovers were just devastating.
He was, he was. And they lose Nakua in the first half of this game. He gets thrown out for a punch.
Punching people in helmet, still dumb.
I don't understand, especially when you make your living with your hands. Would think not to.
What
be
are you going to
bright.
accomplish?
You and I were either talking on the phone or live texting when I think we were talking when Stafford in overtime and you knew he had it.
Oh yeah, it's over.
As soon as he play faked it, you saw the guy sneak out. I said, he's got it. Touchdown, and that's it. I have absolutely no reason other than just some of the anecdotal stuff I hear about Stafford. I find myself rooting for him, and I have for years.
Yeah, I love him.
I just love the way he carries himself. I love the way there is no reason that they are 4-4 with their injuries and the roster turnover they've had, and they are because he's got guts and he stands in there and he makes plays. He's a stud.
By the way, Seattle's their offensive line is so bad. He was sacked 7 times in this game, and some of them he had no
Sometimes
chances.
he holds it.
Agreed, no doubt, no doubt.
Final one, Sunday Night Football, Vikings 21, Colts 13. This game was boring in the first half. I fell asleep. Clearly it got a little bit better as we went on. Not a lot, but a little bit. Nathan?
Sam Darnold, he can a lot of good, a couple picks, but other than the picks, he was so efficient and just dissecting them. They drew up a cool trick play on a big 3rd and long where Justin Jefferson threw a dart to Aaron Jones. They were good. This wasn't a great Flacco game. I think that he certainly had plays to make in this one. They've got it. They are not effective when Michael Pittman Jr. is not involved, and they can't run it with Taylor, and that was really what happened there. This game was not – this is another one not nearly as close as the final score would indicate.
What do you do if you're Kwesi with Sam Darnold?
You got to see how far it goes. J.J. McCarthy's the future. You could do another year of Darnold if you guys actually have a run into the playoffs. But if he goes to the playoffs and bombs out, then you play the kid.
He's 70% completions this year, 1,900 yards, 8.5 an attempt, 17 touchdowns, 7 picks, a rating of 107.8.
He's been great.
It's been sensational.
Well, he's a guy that becomes
are
attractive.
you sure that J.J. can deliver that? That's the thing. You have to make sure that he can deliver that.
His salary is not prohibitive to him sitting for another year.
Right.
The question, though, is then what are you giving Darnold?
Darnold's 27.
I know. So is he going to get a Baker 3-year, $100 million deal?
And you're not going to have McCarthy sit for 3 years.
No.
Because McCarthy's an older – he was a 4-year college
Wasn't as old as Penix.
Not as old as Penix, no. Few are. Bo Nix. But he's playing.
He's playing.
That is one thought from Week 8 in the National Football League.
Wonderful. All
right, there you go. Are we going to do McLeod next? What do you think, Gibby?
I think let's reset everything that's gone on today.
All right, we'll reset. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. We're brought to you by Ballybet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, and alive in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Bo here for my friends at Jim Beam. What do sports and Jim Beam have in common? Both are better when enjoyed with others. So grab a bottle, gather friends, and enjoy the game. Because with Jim Beam, you come as fans and leave as family. Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey, 40% alcohol by volume. Copyright 2024, James B. Beam Distilling Company, Claremont, Kentucky. Drink smart. All right, let's get you updated on where we are. NFL trade deadline is about an hour and a half. There have been a bunch of deals already here with our teams at Arius Smith being traded reportedly to Detroit is the way that deal will go. It will be a fifth. It's Za'Darius and a 7 for a 5 and a 6 coming back. That would be the compensation on that one. Some other things happening today. The Pittsburgh Steelers have acquired Jets wide receiver Mike Williams, so he goes to Pittsburgh. The Washington Commanders have traded for Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore. In our division, the Cincinnati Bengals, Khalil Herbert from the Bears comes over. Zach Moss is out, so Herbert will step in as the backup in Cincinnati at the running back position. A lot of talk this morning that the Bengals weren't done, that they would aggressively try to pursue defensive help as well. I've seen nothing else come through today.
If I were them, I'd sign Quentin Jefferson. You got a free agent. Yeah. He can play that 4-down look, and he's a good pass rusher. They don't really have interior pass rush right now.
I don't know if we'll see anything else. You looking at the G-Man? What's the G-Man got?
He's getting me a number on the Bengals. By the way, Tom Pelissero also reported the Browns releasing veteran defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson.
There you go. That's right. That's what you just said. Yeah. Well, he was negotiating with the G-Man.
Sorry.
G-Man's
third time in 52 years the Bengals have made a trade.
Yeah, they don't
do this.
No, they don't do it.
They don't
spend in free agency.
They
They
don't
don't make
sign
trades.
people.
But I think that they are in a state of pretty big desperation. It's the feeling I get that they have to. They've got to go now. Like Burrow's not happy. Burton's flaking out, going to casinos. Higgins hasn't played much. If Higgins or Burton don't play, Chase doesn't go for 120. I don't know if you've noticed that. Like if there's not somebody else, he's 6 for 47.
Yes.
When Higgins plays or Burton plays or there's somebody else, then it's 4 for 122 and 2 touchdowns. But they have to have somebody else, another threat. Otherwise, he gets bracketed and he's just not there.
I don't even know, how do you quantify Higgins' value going forward if he can't stay on the field?
Well, I don't know. This was something they were always worried about. What they were worried about is that he wouldn't play through things.
Well, I think you're seeing that.
I think that's what you're saying.
He's put out plenty of good tape already this year. Like there is a team that certainly will take him and hope that he's motivated to play through those things, and he'll be just fine.
Yeah. Now, I don't know what the market will be because you're starting to get a receiver glut.
Correct.
There's so many receivers now. It's the deepest position in every draft.
Yep.
Is the receiver position.
Yep.
So, and I think this year I was listening to, who's our buddy from San Diego? He does the Chargers. Daniel Jeremiah.
Yep.
He was saying like defensive tackle, defensive ends, receivers, running backs loaded, quarterback draft really thin.
On the pregame show,
was he on with you guys?
Yeah, we asked him about QBs.
Yeah.
At the end, and he said, "How do I say, not great."
Yeah.
So did he like Shedeur? Is that the guy he likes the most?
He said he throws it the best, but there's a lot of questions still.
So my thing with Shedeur, I've just watched a lot of Colorado the last 2 years. Like he has a lot of bad habits because of the way they play. So he will hold it forever. He will try to wiggle out of tackles and misdirect and redirect. There's not a whole lot of like snap it out, spin it, like see it, rip it. That's not what they do. It's very much a see it open offense. He's got a lot of arm talent, but it would just really be he's got to go to the right spot. Really, he plays a lot like Caleb played last year at USC.
Yeah,
like pretty freewheeling.
Yep.
There's not a whole lot of structure there. So that would be something to watch.
Also, hearing the Squealers are not done.
Oh, great.
Jeremy
Steelers not done at trading for Packers veteran pass rusher Preston Smith.
Interesting.
It is.
Browns are most likely done making moves at the deadline, I'm told. Had talks, but nothing else came together, save Za'Darius Smith deal per Jeremy Fowler.
Okay. Howard Hand, official real estate provider of your Cleveland Browns. Exclusive buyer agent is there to help you navigate the field, save time and money, scoring that winning touchdown. A new home. Win big with the leader in real estate. Visit howardhanna.com/go Browns today for more. Coming up next, a Tuesday edition of the Mailbag. Still time to get your questions into Gibbe. We will answer those coming up next. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily. It's brought to you by Bally Bet, sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns, now live in Ohio on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Recycling, the recycling leader, invests over $100 million to build North America's largest, most technologically advanced recycling center right here in Ohio. Visit rumpke.com to learn more about tours and how this facility helps grow our circular economy. Time for a rare Tuesday edition of the Mailbag. It's presented by the Cross Country Mortgage Company, official mortgage partner of your Cleveland Browns. When it comes to financing, they'll always get you home. Visit ccm.com today. Equal housing opportunity, NMLS 3029. Hello, Gibbe.
Nope. All right, turn your mic on.
No mic. Sad.
How about now?
Oh, baby.
Jeez.
Oh,
I did.
It's becoming a
All right.
daily occurrence.
Oh, baby.
How
You
about
had one
that?
of these. You know how easy it is?
So easy with the red light.
So
Oh,
easy.
so easy that you didn't do it in the last segment. Great. No.
There's two segments ago.
No. What? I didn't talk. I looked. It wasn't on. Turned it on.
Turn it
and
on,
then talked.
and then you go.
I don't know about that.
It's that simple. It's crazy you designed the studio this way. Really
It
is.
really is.
With
one
no
of the
no
great
on-air
Wait till you
lights.
get a load of the new one.
The new one.
What? Is that
Oh, baby.
breaking news?
Oh, baby. Breaking news?
At some point.
At some point. Where are they going to put us? On the moon?
Can you tell us more?
Be determined.
Can you tell me more?
You know what I
Seen the
finished
blueprint
last week?
multiple times.
Does it have the things that it should have?
I saw a blueprint once of Zagura that looked nothing like Zagura. Sitting at a desk looks nothing like this one.
Same.
Fair. I'm going to make sure that Bo has everything and I have everything and you have nothing.
Okay.
Your mic's not even.
You know what I just finished? The show I just finished, it's been out for a lot of years, was The Offer on
I have heard
Paramount Plus about the
Okay.
making of The Godfather. Awesome.
Okay.
Really?
Really
Yes.
awesome. I had
Very
no
good.
idea all that was in it. I didn't know the history of it. I didn't know how much the
mob
actual
was against
mafia was against it. Didn't have any idea.
And then now they love it.
They love it. The guy who played Bob Evans was unbelievable.
Yeah.
Strong. Good, fun show. Really fun show.
Okay, I got for you what I am considering to be the best show that I have watched.
Oh, God.
And I like hyperbole. I do.
Okay.
But this is the best show. And we've gotten caught up in a week, and we're just like, as soon as the episode, we're like, we need to watch the next one. What's coming? Like, what's coming next? It's that good. Penguin. It is the Colin Farrell should win every award that's ever been handed out to an actor for acting. The girl who plays Sophia Falcone is unreal. It is so good, and you talk twists and turns.
So do you think, even though I don't like a non-Batman villain?
It's 100% you'll like it.
Okay.
I've not even 99.9, 100%.
100%. It's got everything I need.
The writing is incredible. The acting is off the charts. The sets, the scenes, all of it's
It's the rise of the Penguin?
it's kind of like his origin story.
Okay. All right. I'm intrigued by it because I've seen a lot of the reviews have been high, and I don't have one now, so
Dude.
I can do it. Yellowstone starts
And-
next week.
And it finale is this Sunday.
Oh, so it
So
ties in.
you can
I could bomb all the way through.
bomb through, and then you'll get this Sunday live. Like I don't know the last time that I was like, I have to watch a show live, and we are like, this Sunday night we are watching
Probably
Penguin
Thrones.
live. Yes, but it's been a while.
Yeah, that's been a minute. Yeah.
Yellowstone we would too when it
Yeah,
was
because that
released
when
that
it was,
way.
it was really throwing. Yeah,
But-
but it's back. It's back Sunday.
It can't be.
I'm not sure he's not going to be in it.
I thought he said he wasn't going to be in it.
I understand, but like he lost his rear end on those Horizon movies, and did they throw a Hail Mary at the end and get him to do something? It wouldn't surprise me.
And they've kept it under wraps.
I think it's in play. It's remote. It films in Montana.
I hope you're right. I feel like in this day and age that is an impossible thing to keep under wraps.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah.
By the way, when we were doing the glamping, we were on the Mohican River, and we watched Last Mohican. That movie, with every watch, it's better.
This always blows your mind. I've only seen it once, and the last time I saw it I was in probably high school.
It's the final scene is perhaps the greatest scene in the history of movies.
Yeah.
There are
I might have been too young to watch it.
10 minutes,
I don't remember.
no dialogue.
Well, don't tell
and
me because
just-
maybe I'll watch it. Is it appropriate for like the oldest?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
it's the best movie ever.
By the way, it is official. The Browns have put out the release. The Browns-Lions have agreed to the following trade. The Browns receive a 25 fifth-rounder, a 26 sixth-rounder. They receive, the Lions do. They receive Zadarius Smith, and a 2026 seventh-round pick. Fine. Trade the next 5 years of seventh-round picks. Good. Smith appeared in 25 games with the Browns, recorded 50 tackles, 10.5 sacks, and 1 forced fumble. In addition, formally, the Browns have terminated the contract of defensive tackle Quentin Jefferson. He appeared in 5 games, recorded 6 tackles, and 1 sack.
There you go.
Mailbag. Tweet your questions to us at Browns_Daily. Brady did. Gentlemen, favorite brand of pants What about shirts and quarter zips?
I'm always mixed with this because
You don't want to
run on them, and
up
it's
here.
I'll tell you this: there are more athleisure brands now than there have ever been in the history. Than there's been in
I'm wearing two of my favorites right now.
Than in the history of
You're
athleisure.
saying I can't say it? We got it. Come on.
I'm just saying, like you're gonna.
All of a sudden, there's going to be a boom. Hey,
Robert,
remember that you
subtle,
guys move
subtle,
merchandise.
Easy. Well, yeah. So
you don't want to do
I'm going to tell you
this.
something. You want to do some merch? I'm at Rocket Mortgage last night. They got a Lulu exclusive. You got to get it there.
Yep.
And then they had a whole Lulu pop-up store
Yeah.
that had quarter zips, hoodies, the whole operation. I was like, okay,
Pretty good.
now you can't get it online, so you got to go there to do it.
There
but I
is
thought it was
some
cool.
There's a Lulu Fanatics collab right now for sports teams.
So I was on Fanatics today, and I didn't see it.
I got
was
an
like,
email about it the other day.
did you? Yeah, but like that's.
I will
that's
say
good
because
stuff.
they're becoming the official, short and pan of the program. The Red
They could
Families.
become more.
They could.
of
But
one.
we're gonna now we talk about it, and then we say, hey, check this out.
Yeah.
The Red Families are they're unbelievable. They're a game changer. Completely changed my life.
They are. They're good. Very, very good.
They're the best
The
pants.
original was the Lulu pant. Like that
Yeah.
was the first ones who did it.
Yep.
And now there's a bunch of people that do it, and they've done it. They do it at a very high level.
They do the shorts. The shorts and the pants of this material, the thinner of the two
Yes.
materials, is
Tough to beat.
it's impossible to beat.
I do not have a pair of the pant yet.
Well,
Yeah.
Well.
But the short. Well, how about it?
how about it?
Joe tweets at the show. Gentleman fought with the wife yesterday. She wanted me to put the Christmas tree up tonight. I said no. Black Friday is the day to do that. What say you, fellas?
I think everybody should live the way they want to live. I think if you want to have the Christmas tree up, put it up. It's the season. I think you could make the case now. Sure, fine. I have no problem with it. You want to keep it up till February, as you said, do that too. I think one of the reasons that if it sounds like if you're putting the tree up that you own a non-real tree, I think one of the reasons you do that is so that you can have it up as long as you want. So you do that. No muss, no fuss. I'm a real tree man. This year, am not waiting for Black Friday because this is maybe the latest Thanksgiving on record.
Yeah, it is. It's too far down the road.
Too far down.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go the weekend before, like the 22nd that
There you
weekend.
go.
We have that weekend off
and I'm
because
going
we
to
play Thursday.
Yeah, I'm going to get my tree. That's when the tree will be got this year.
Yeah.
And I'll keep it up until it is like
Kindling.
yeah.
Like if somebody lights a
Yeah.
candle across the room, it'll blow up.
Yeah.
I used to be a very strict, like, no, too soon. And now I'm like, if whatever makes you happy, man. Like you want a month, you want that sucker to be up from November 1st to February 26th. Live, damn it. Whatever makes you happy, man. I'm not here to judge. One thing I do think that's happened in my life, which is very different, is when I was a kid, where I grew up, Halloween was one day. Like, there weren't a whole lot of Halloween decorations. It was rare that there were Halloween decorations on a lot of houses, like
Yep.
one or two in the whole
Now
town.
it's-
Now
Maybe-
everybody does Halloween.
Maybe like 10 days out.
And I feel like,
decorations.
for sure, and I think I see Halloween decorations up like end of
Labor Day.
September.
Yeah.
Labor Day, yeah. And I feel like Thanksgiving, which I never was a fan of as a kid anyway, and we've talked about both of us, and you really turned the lights on turkey.
You're welcome.
Because there is no such thing as a transformative turkey is the reality. And the reality is that Thanksgiving is usurped. Halloween has replaced it.
Yep.
It's the much bigger holiday is Halloween, and Thanksgiving just kind of we watch some football and that's it. But you don't see that many people decorate for Thanksgiving like they
What
do
is
Halloween.
it?
Well, gourds and I don't know, that type of nonsense.
Cornucopia.
Have some squash.
That stuff, I guess. I don't know. Orange and brown, everything. I mean,
To me, that's
kinda it.
fall. As soon as you go to, that's like Kayla has like a big fall thing. She has a great. We always have like one festive dish towel that is never
Yeah.
used for dishes, but it sits there.
Just sits there.
And
Look at it. That
It's
lets you know.
festive and it has
Yeah.
funny things on it. And the one she has this year says, "The only thing getting lit this weekend are my pumpkin candles or pumpkin spice
Yeah.
candles or something like that."
Nice.
And she loves a fall. She loves candles. She loves a fall candle.
Oh, the fall candle. I mean, it sets a mood.
It does set a mood. Now I'm all about give me the winter candles. Give me
Yes, the
pines
winter
and-
candles are pretty good.
yes.
I like the one. It's funny. There's one that smells like it's a humidor. I like
like
that
a
one.
tobacco.
Yeah, man, and like sweet tobacco. I like that
Tobacco,
because I don't
little
and I don't like cigars, but I like the
Little
smell of it.
leather.
Yeah, or I like a pipe tobacco smell. I'm a big fan of.
I'd
I'll
love
tell
to
you
have a
something
nice
else.
pipe.
I've wanted, dude. Tell me about it. You think I wouldn't? Of all the people you know, you think
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to have a smoking jacket in the study with a pipe?
Doesn't
and
the
3
Hop have
fingers?
some great smoking jacket?
Of course, he has a
that he
smoking
got from,
jacket.
like, the
I
Hall
think
of
he got
Fame?
it from the Hall of Fame.
Or that he was made for the
I think that's right. Yeah, but I see the people on the pipes. I'm like, that seems like the best life.
I'm gonna text
And then
that right
somebody told me who tried the pipe, they're like, actually, it's better to just get a candle that smells like that because it's kind of a pain in the neck. But there's something dignified about walking around with that pipe.
Yes.
I think I like it.
Mr. Hamp, to you, give me one TV show or movie who deserves a sequel and never got one.
Well, I think it's really crazy that 3 Arnold Schwarzenegger movies that, well, I'm more of a Schwarzenegger than Stallone guy. I think his movies are a
Same.
little bit more fun. I love them both.
Yeah.
But I think it's crazy that he did not do a true sequel to Predator. There's a sequel to Predator, but he's not in it. He did not do a sequel to Commando. And he did not do a sequel to True Lies.
True Lies.
What about the Running
True
Man?
Lies is awesome. Running Man 2.
I'd like to see what's he do now.
He didn't do any of those sequels. Like,
Yeah.
who didn't? Why were there not 3 Commandos? Why were there not 3 True Lies? Why were there not 3 Running Mans or 3 Predators with him in it? I don't understand that. Who dropped the ball on that?
I don't know. Tell you, my vote will be for a show that needs to have a second season. If it doesn't, if Penguin doesn't, it needs
I think
to.
it's safe that it will.
Well, they're
seems
saying
like
that
Or they'll lead it into the movie.
it may be a movie.
Yeah. I think shows are more profitable. I mean, it seems
Colin Farrell apparently, when you see what he does, his acting it's unbelievable. Like you would, there's no way if you gave me a million guesses who's playing Penguin that it would be Colin Farrell. And apparently, it's a lot to do, and he doesn't necessarily enjoy as much
I'm sure he does.
the process.
Yeah, I mean, he looks nothing like himself. It's like one of the more handsome
No, and he
cats around.
walks. He's waddling like the penguin.
Yeah,
He's got a
lot of
bum
work.
leg. There's
But it's all set up so that they can do the Batman sequel, right? Isn't that what this is set up for? So does the events of this series happen before the Batman movie or after? Do we know? Did you watch the Batman?
the most recent.
Yeah, the one with Pattinson as
No,
Batman.
but we're gonna watch it.
Because he's in it as the Penguin.
Colin Farrell is.
Yes.
So then this would be before that.
So this would be a prequel to that.
'Cause he's not-
Because he's not doing any of that
He's
yet.
not the Penguin yet.
Okay. All right. He's just.
I mean, he is, but he's not.
But he's not yet. Not
He's
fully
not.
formed.
Right.
Batman Returns, not the greatest movie experience to take my then little brother to. A lot of nightmares
Probably.
coming out of that one.
Yeah.
Nobody saw that coming. So much more to come. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. OBM, the preferred provider of copiers and document services for Cleveland Browns. They'll tackle any size office, 216-485-2000, or visit ohiobusinessmachines.com.
Go vote.
Tomorrow's an actual
Go vote.
Friday.
It's a first Friday.
Friday.
No, it is everything you want a first Friday to be.
An actual Friday.
It's as good as the ultimate first Friday is the first Friday going into Thanksgiving. That's the best one because most people. So we have to work Friday, but most people don't. Like they're
TBD if that's going to happen.
They push off.
Kids. I'm working on some things.
Well, we might be on a plane.
Well, that's
Oh
part
no!
of the reason.
Oh
why.
no!
Working.
Where are you guys going?
If we get off of Monday Night Football, which feels possible.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Where's that game? I don't even know.
Denver.
Well, you got to go out 4 or 5 days ahead in advance. Get used to the elevation.
I'm going to do just fine.
So maybe if you play on Sunday, maybe fly out there Wednesday.
Yeah.
So you have 4 or 5 days to acclimate to the conditions.
Yeah, thanks.
All right. The next level is coming up next. Thanks for listening, everybody. Cleveland Browns Daily, 850 ESPN Cleveland.